guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys coming by the channel today to check the video out. And guys, today we're going to be talking about buzzbait fishing. I sort of wanted to do a little comprehensive video on some tips and techniques that I like to help me catch fish on buzzers, specifically talking about summertime buzzbait fishing, because buzzbaits are one of those topwaters. They got about the longest window that a topwater lure works. I don't know of another lure that works in more conditions and more type of water temperatures than a buzzer. Anytime the water temperature is over 55 degrees, you can catch them on a buzzbait. But the way that you fish a buzzer and the way you work it and the areas differ in different times of year. So we're gonna really dig into the summertime techniques in today's video. Also guys, speaking of buzzers, I will put my buzzbait link in my Tackle Warehouse link description in this video. So if you guys want to order some buzzbaits, if you use my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video, really helps the channel out, get you some good deals on that. And also guys, if you're wanting a really good reel to throw it, Cast King has got two excellent bait cast reels. They got the ALTI bait cast reel and the MGTI. You can get those in my Tackle Warehouse link too, in my Cast King link, or I'll put just the generic Cast King link in a description in this video. If you guys would like to order some there, if you use the promo code Randy10, you get an additional discount on that, so appreciate that. Okay guys, buzzers, man. One of the weird things about a buzzbait here is I don't know why they're still so successful, because a buzzbait telegraphs itself. And what I'm talking about, it has a very unique sound that gives itself away. It's not like a plastic worm that is like, you know, silent. Of course, dogs start barking. I gotta close the garage door here. But it's always perplexed me on how a buzzbait is still so effective, because it's a really easy bait to pick up the sound on. Again, like I said, if you use a Cinco or a Texas rig worm or a wacky rig, you know, they're silent, so they don't telegraph themselves. There's nothing like to condition a response within a bass, but the buzzbait there is. But it still works good now as it did back when it came out in the 70s. And buzzbaits have been around since the early 1970s. So from that standpoint, I'm sort of amazed with it a little bit. Okay, let's talk a little bit about buzzers. Talk a little bit about summertime buzzbait fishing and how it differs in the other times of the year. Now, one of the biggest things that you're going to find in buzzbait fishing is the profile of your buzzbait. The size of the buzzbait has a lot to do with your ability to catch fish on it. Most people that I see, they fish a pretty good sized buzzbait all year long. And for whatever reason, when I'm fishing these tournaments, like my co-anglers and stuff like that, they fish a buzzbait a lot. You know, I don't know how many co-anglers that I have drawn out that they always start out with a buzzbait, and it's usually a pretty big buzzbait. So here's what you need to remember about seasonality on buzzbaits and different times of year. And it's a water temperature deal. Anytime that water temperature is between like 55 and 65 degrees, I don't care if that occurs during the springtime of the year, during the pre-spawn and spawn, or if it's in the fall time of the year when it's 55 to 65 degrees, this is the time you want to use a large buzzer, like a 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce buzzbait, large profile buzzer with a big blade on it. That works the best in that water temperature range. But one of the things that you're going to find is as the water temperatures warm up in the summertime and they start to get, you know, into the 70s, and especially when they get into the 80s, like when water temperature gets above 80 degrees, which is pretty common in the summertime, they want a smaller buzzbait. And this is one of the mistakes that a lot of anglers make in the summertime, is they continue fishing that bigger buzzbait. And I'm not saying you can't catch one on it, but guys, you will not believe how many more bites you're gonna get on a buzzbait by downsizing to a little 1/4 ounce or even a 1/8 ounce buzzbait. My favorite is a 1/4 ounce, and the blade on a 1/4 ounce is about half the size as the blade on a 1/2 ounce or a 3/4 ounce. It's a small little buzzbait like that. It's got a small blade on it, and it probably has to do with the mood and the personality of the fish and how they're positioned around cover and the bait fish size. But I can promise you guys, if we go fishing in the summertime and we start out with a buzzer, if one of us has a 1/4 ounce buzzer and the other one has a big 1/2 ounce buzzer on, the person on the 1/4 ounce buzzer is going to smoke the guy fishing the bigger buzzbait. That's one thing to remember. And I really like they make an 1/8 ounce buzzer. Some companies do. You have to check it out in that Tackle Warehouse link, the Buzzbait link. Some of them make an 1/8 ounce and definitely a lot of them make a 1/4, but just try to stock up on the 1/4 ounce. Next thing with it, guys, is the color of the Buzzbait. My favorite Buzzbait color by far is a black Buzzbait. Black Buzzbait with a black blade on it is my workhorse Buzzbait color. I don't use it in the summertime of the year. In the summertime of the year, it's all about shad and silver blades for me. So here's sort of my blade window. I like black Buzzbaits early in the year and late in the year, especially on cloudy type days. I like a gold blade in the fall time of the year in correlation with a black blade. But in the summertime, I want some type of a silver type blade, the metallic silver, and I want a shad pattern skirt. I want either a white skirt or like a translucent salt and pepper, something like that. I don't use a trailer and I don't use a trailer hook. I want a very, very small profile, and I trim back the skirt on it to where it's just, about even with the back hook. Okay, on that, if I'm fishing an 1/8 ounce buzzer, I'm usually using it on a spinning rod with most of the time like 20-pound test straight braided line. This is one of the few times I do use braid. And if I'm using a bait caster, I usually use, like a 7 foot 2 inch medium heavy with something like 17-pound test fluorocarbon line on it, because 1/4 ounce you can cast with a bait caster pretty good. Okay, now here's the window, or here's what you need to remember about buzzbait fishing in the summertime. Some of my best buzzbait days in the spring and the fall time of the year come on an all-day deal. It's like, you may start out catching a few in the morning, but it's like you're always going to catch the bigger fish in the spring and the fall on the buzzbait up in the day. So I'll fish a buzzbait all day long in the spring and the fall, if they're biting it. Not so much in the summertime. The summertime buzzbait bite with a little buzzer is going to be relegated to early in the morning pretty much. You can catch a few of them later in the evening, but mainly it's early in the morning. A lot of the fish in the lake, they'll go up and they'll feed at night. And even if they're suspended out in the lake, a lot of times they move to the bank at night and they'll feed at the night and then they move back deeper. But if you get there right off the bat in the morning, like the first couple hours of daylight, there's still some stragglers up on the bank hanging around. And that's when I'll fish that little 1/4 ounce buzzbait just on shady, usually rocky banks or shallow grass. If you got some shallow grass, great. If you don't, just get on, any type of shady type of bank that has some type of proximity to deeper water, and just fish that buzzbait until you lose your shade. Once you lose your shade, it's going to be over with. And also, even if you do have shade and it starts to get up around 10 o'clock in the morning, they still don't bite it very good. That little 1/4 ounce buzzbait or the 1/8 ounce buzzbait is going to be deadly the first hour after the sun comes up. This is what you need to remember. The first hour after the sun comes up, tie that little bitty buzzbait on, fish it parallel to those rocky banks. Riprap banks are great. If you have riprap, throw that buzzer right up against the rocks on the riprap. Bluff ends, steeper points, especially steep points, guys. Steep rocky points are going to be really good places to fish right off the bat with that buzzer while you have shade on it. And also, in the summertime, you got to speed up your retrieve on your buzzer. So I use a medium fast stop and go retrieve. I shake my rod a lot of times. I'm not just like blah, 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 blah. I want that thing to be moving across the surface, pretty fast in an erratic motion to generate that reaction strike. So anyway, guys, that's just a few buzzbait tips. The best thing I can tell you guys is go small, speed up your retrieve, look for that shade, and catch some good fish in the summer on a buzzer. So we'll talk later.